There comes a time in every woman's life when she must look herself in the mirror, not through the eyes of the world, not through the expectations of others, but through the quiet reflection of her own soul. The world has whispered to women for centuries, whispered lies wrapped in ribbons of flattery, telling them they are too much or not enough. The chosen woman, the one set apart by divine intention, feels this battle more than anyone. She carries light in her bones and thunder in her voice, yet somewhere along the way she forgets how to wield them. Her power, so deep, so sacred, so ancient, sometimes becomes the very thing she trades away for acceptance, for comfort, for love that never loved her back. And it is in those small, silent exchanges where power turns to weakness and strength becomes silence. But today, my sister, we will not hide from that truth. We will walk through it. We will name it, and we will rise above it. The first way a woman loses her power is when she apologizes for being powerful. Somewhere in her story she was told that her strength made others uncomfortable, that her intelligence was intimidating, her confidence was arrogance, her voice too loud, her laughter too free. And so she began to shrink. She learned to smile when she wanted to roar, to whisper when she wanted to sing. But a chosen woman must never apologize for being the storm she was born to be. The sun does not apologize for shining too bright. The ocean does not say sorry for its depth. You were never meant to fit into a world that fears its own light. Stop apologizing for taking up space in a world that could not exist without you. The second way a woman loses her power is when she tries to heal others who refuse to be healed. Oh, how a chosen woman loves. She loves with a heart that bends until it breaks. She sees potential in broken men and redemption in lost souls. She becomes the savior, the mother, the counselor, the healer to every wounded soul that crosses her path. But not everyone wants to be healed. Not everyone deserves the medicine of your presence. You cannot save someone who chooses their chains. You cannot pour yourself into an empty vessel that leaks at the bottom. You were not placed here to carry everyone's pain. Your love is holy. Stop giving it away like it's free water in a desert where no one values rain. The third way a woman turns her power into weakness is by competing instead of connecting. The world taught her that other women are her rivals, that beauty, success, and love are scarce resources she must fight for. But competition among women is the devil's greatest trick. The chosen woman knows that her crown does not dim when another woman shines. We are not in competition, we are a constellation. We were made to reflect the same light from different angles. The moment a woman sees her sister as her ally, heaven takes notice. Because when women unite, the earth trembles. When they divide, kingdoms fall silent. The fourth way a woman loses her power is by staying silent when her soul is screaming. Silence is a slow poison. The chosen woman feels everything. Her intuition speaks louder than words, but fear often binds her tongue. She doesn't want to cause conflict, to be labeled difficult, to be misunderstood. So she swallows her truth until it suffocates her. But truth unspoken becomes a wound that festers in the spirit. Speak, woman, speak, even if your voice shakes. Speak, even if your words burn bridges. Some bridges were meant to be burned because they lead back to places that were killing you. The fifth way a woman turns her strength into weakness is by seeking validation from the unworthy. Too many chosen women have laid their worth at the feet of men who couldn't even see their value. She dresses her wounds in attention, mistakes flattery for love, and confuses control with care. But validation is a cage disguised as affection. You don't need to be chosen by a man when you were already chosen by God. The right love will not demand that you become less of yourself. It will honor you for being exactly who you are. Until then, remember your worth was never up for negotiation. The sixth way a woman loses her power is by pretending she is fine when she is breaking inside. Society taught her to smile through heartbreak, to be strong for everyone else, to never let them see her cry. But strength is not the absence of pain, it is the courage to face it. There is no glory in pretending to be unbothered when your soul is aching. Healing requires honesty. You cannot fix what you refuse to feel. Cry if you must, collapse if you must. But rise again, my sister, because your tears do not make you weak, they baptize your strength. The seventh way a woman turns her power into weakness is by giving too many chances. The chosen woman's heart is vast and forgiving, but there comes a time when forgiveness becomes self-betrayal. You can love someone deeply and still recognize that they are poison to your peace. Every time you let someone back into your life who has shown you they don't respect you, you teach them how to hurt you better next time. Love does not mean tolerance of pain. Mercy does not mean martyrdom. Sometimes walking away is the holiest thing you can do. The eighth way a woman loses her power is by doubting her own intuition. God placed intuition in a woman as a compass, a sacred voice that whispers truth even when logic can't explain it. But too often, she silences that voice. She tells herself she's overreacting, being emotional, imagining things. She doubts her divine guidance and instead follows opinions of others who cannot see what she sees. But every time she ignores her intuition, she drifts further from her purpose. Woman, trust your knowing, that gut feeling, that sudden unease, that inexplicable peace. It's not random, it's divine. Listen to it, for it will never lead you astray. The ninth way a woman loses her power is by letting fear decide her destiny. She fears failure, rejection, judgment. She fears being alone, so she settles for jobs beneath her potential, for relationships beneath her worth, for dreams she never dares to chase. But fear is a thief that steals silently. Every time you let fear make a decision for you, you give away a piece of your power. Remember this, chosen one. Courage does not mean you are not afraid. Courage means you move anyway. The world needs what's inside of you. Your dream was given to you for a reason. Don't bury your promise because fear told you it was safer in the dark. And finally, the 10th way a woman turns her power into weakness is by forgetting who she is. She becomes everything for everyone, mother, lover, friend, caretaker, until she forgets the woman she was before the world named her. She forgets that she was once wild, once free, once divine. She forgets that she was made in the image of something infinite. But you, chosen woman, must remember, you are not just flesh and bone. You are spirit and storm, fire and prayer, heaven and heartbeat. You were born for such a time as this. Every trial you've faced, every heartbreak you've endured, every tear you've cried has not been wasted. They were chiseling you into the masterpiece you are becoming. Now hear me, woman of God. You are not weak because you have fallen. You are powerful because you have risen. The enemy tried to convince you that your pain disqualified you. But it was your pain that prepared you. Every betrayal became a lesson. Every heartbreak became a doorway to deeper wisdom. You didn't lose yourself in those moments. You found the pieces of you that could not be broken. Stop mourning the version of yourself that played small just to be loved. She served her purpose. Now it's time to step into the fullness of your power. You must understand, being chosen is not a title, it's a burden and a blessing. It means you will walk paths others fear to tread. It means you will outgrow people, environments, and even versions of yourself that once felt like home. It means you will be misunderstood, criticized, and sometimes completely alone. But solitude is sacred. God hides his most powerful daughters in silence before revealing them to the world. Do not mistake isolation for abandonment. He is not punishing you. He is preparing you. The cocoon always feels like the end until the butterfly emerges. Stop trying to be understood by those who were never meant to understand you. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable in their darkness. Stop doubting your worth because of the way others mishandled you. You are not too much. They were simply too small to hold what you carry. You are not hard to love. You were just loving in a place that couldn't receive you. You are not broken. You are breaking open. Every scar on your soul is proof that you survived something that tried to destroy you. Wear them proudly. They are your armor. And now, woman of purpose, rise. Rise from the ashes of what tried to bury you. Rise from the shame that told you you were not enough. Rise from the relationships that drained your spirit. Rise from the self-doubt that silenced your roar. Rise, and remember that power is not something you must earn. It is who you are. You were born powerful. You were born worthy. You were born chosen. When you walk, let your steps echo with confidence. When you speak, let your words carry healing. When you love, let it come from a place of abundance, not desperation. The world does not need another woman who hides her power. It needs a woman who knows it, owns it, and walks in it unapologetically. You are that woman. You always have been. The world just needed you to remember. So today, let this be your awakening. Let every word you've heard sink deep into your bones and remind you who you are. You are not meant to chase. You are meant to attract. You are not meant to prove. You are meant to embody. You are not meant to beg, you are meant to bless. The moment you stop trading your power for validation is the moment everything around you begins to shift. The job changes. The relationships realign. The opportunities find you. Because power attracts peace and peace attracts purpose. Do not be afraid to walk away from what no longer serves your soul. Sometimes God closes doors not because He's angry, but because He's protecting you from rooms too small for your destiny. You are meant to expand. You are meant to evolve. You are meant to lead, to nurture, to speak, to heal, to inspire. The chosen woman is not a follower of trends. She is a force of transformation. Wherever she goes, things shift. Hearts awaken. Atmospheres change. Because she carries light and light never hides. When the world tells you to be quiet, speak louder. When it tells you to shrink, rise taller. When it tells you to settle, soar higher. You owe it to the little girl inside you who once believed in magic, who once looked at the stars and thought she could touch them. That girl is still inside you, waiting for you to show her that her faith wasn't foolish. Let her see you win. Let her see you free. Let her see you powerful. And when the storms come, and they will, remember this: storms don't break chosen women, they reveal them. You were not created to survive, you were created to overcome. You are the answer to someone's prayer, the inspiration behind someone's hope, the proof that God still works miracles through ordinary flesh. Every woman who remembers her power becomes a doorway for another to find hers. That is how we heal the world, one awakened woman at a time. So walk with your head high, your heart open, and your spirit unshakable. You have cried your tears, you have fought your battles, and you have earned your crown. Wear it not as decoration but as declaration: I am the chosen one. I am not weak. I am divine. I am powerful beyond measure. And when they ask you who you are, tell them. Tell them you are the woman who remembered her power, who turned her pain into purpose, who learned that her softness was not a weakness but a weapon, that her love was not a curse but a calling. Tell them you are no longer waiting for permission to be who you were created to be. You are no longer apologizing for existing. You are no longer shrinking to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You are walking in your power now, and nothing will ever take that away again, because when a chosen woman finally remembers her power, the universe itself stands still in reverence. The ground shakes, the heavens rejoice, and every chain that once held her breaks. For she has become what she was always meant to be: light unbroken, love unshaken, power unhidden. And so it is, and so she rises slowly at first, like the dawn pressing its light against the edge of the earth. She rises not because it is easy, but because she must. The world has already seen what happens when women forget their power. Now it will see what happens when they remember. The chosen woman, once silent and subdued, now carries the fire of generations that refuse to die. Inside her pulse are the prayers of ancestors who dreamed of a day when a woman would stand tall, not as property, not as shadow, but as prophecy fulfilled. Her rise is not rebellion, it is restoration. She is simply reclaiming what was always hers: her worth, her voice, her divine authority. But hear me, my sister, rising does not mean that the world will celebrate you. It means that some will misunderstand you, others will resent you, and many will try to pull you back to the smallness they are comfortable with. You must not let them. Every time you stand tall, someone will call you arrogant. Every time you speak truth, someone will call you bitter. Every time you choose yourself, someone will call you selfish. Let them talk. Their words are proof that your movement disturbs what was meant to stay asleep. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be light. The sun does not ask permission to shine, and neither should you. There will be days when your power feels heavy, when you long for the simplicity of ignorance, when knowing better feels like a burden you did not ask for. But power is not about comfort, it is about responsibility. The chosen woman carries wisdom that could heal nations if she dares to use it. The world does not fall apart because women are weak. It falls apart because too many powerful women have been convinced to stay silent. You are the voice they tried to erase, the courage they tried to tame, the love they tried to bury. Do not underestimate what happens when a woman chooses to be whole again. Remember, your softness is not a liability. It is your weapon. The gentleness in your spirit can break walls that anger never could. The tenderness in your hands can restore what violence destroyed. The compassion in your heart is a force that rewrites destinies. The world may confuse your kindness for weakness, but God knows better. He made your softness a shield and your empathy a revolution. Every time you forgive without losing your discernment, every time you love without losing yourself, every time you show grace without surrendering your standards, heaven applauds. Because true power does not scream, it glows. But woman, do not forget this power without boundaries is a slow death. You must protect your energy like a sacred garden. Not everyone deserves to walk among your flowers. Some will come only to pluck your peace and trample your joy. You cannot let them. Guard your heart not out of fear but out of wisdom. Set boundaries so firm that even the wind must ask permission to pass. You do not owe explanations for your standards. You do not need to justify why you said no. Every boundary you set is a love letter to your future self, a declaration that says, I will not betray my peace for temporary approval. There will be moments when you find yourself standing alone. When friends fade, lovers leave, and the path grows narrow. Do not fear that solitude. Solitude is the forge of the chosen. It is where clarity is born, where voices of distraction grow silent, and where God's whispers become loud enough to guide you. The woman who can walk alone is unstoppable, for she has mastered the art of being at home within herself. Learn to enjoy your own company. To sit in silence and hear the sound of your heartbeat without needing the noise of validation. The more comfortable you are in solitude, the less you will chase what was never meant to stay. And when the world tests you, and it will, remember that storms are not sent to destroy you but to expose your foundation. A storm does not break a tree with deep roots. Let your roots go deep, not in people, not in status, not in fleeting things, but in truth. The truth that you are loved, chosen, protected, and equipped. When you are rooted in truth, nothing can uproot your peace. You will bend, yes, you may even weep, but you will not break. The same God who carried you through yesterday's wilderness will lead you through tomorrow's fire. The chosen woman must also learn to forgive herself. Forgive the times you stayed too long, the times you settled for less, the times you ignored your intuition, the times you mistook pain for passion. You did what you could with the awareness you had. Now you know better, so you can do better. Shame has no place in your new season. Guilt has no seat at your table. Every mistake you made was a teacher in disguise. Without them, you would not have the wisdom you carry now. So bless your past and release it. You are not her anymore. You are the woman who rose from her ashes and built a kingdom on what tried to kill her. When you begin to walk in your true power, you will notice how peace replaces chaos. You will stop chasing what is already yours. You will stop forcing doors that refuse to open. You will stop explaining your worth to those committed to misunderstanding it. The woman who knows her value does not beg for attention. She commands respect through her presence. She does not chase energy. She attracts alignment. She does not demand love. She becomes love. And when she becomes love, love finds her without her lifting a finger. That is the secret the world doesn't want you to know. Power flows where peace resides. There will be days when you doubt this power, when the weight of the world feels heavier than your faith. On those days, remember this truth: you are not doing life alone. The same hands that formed galaxies hold you together. The same voice that spoke light into existence whispers your name. You were created with intention, not accident. You were born to shift generations, not just survive seasons. So when you feel weary, rest, but never quit. Rest in your faith, not your fear. Rest knowing that even when you cannot see the way is already being prepared for you. Do not rush what God is building in you. Flowers bloom at their appointed time, and so will you. Stop comparing your journey to others. The chosen woman's path is never ordinary. Her detours are divine, her delays are direction. What looks like rejection is often redirection. What feels like failure is often formation. Everything is working in your favor even when it doesn't look like it. Trust the process that's shaping you. The gold must go through fire to reveal its brilliance. So must you. And when your moment comes, and it will, stand tall. Do not hide your blessings out of guilt. Do not dim your success to make others comfortable. Let your victory speak for itself. You paid for it with sleepless nights, silent battles, and prayers no one heard. You earned the right to shine. Let your glow remind others that healing is possible. Let your strength be the testimony that pain can produce purpose. The world needs to see what grace looks like in human form, and that, woman, is you. But never forget to reach back. The true mark of power is not dominance, it is legacy. When a woman rises, she must leave the ladder down. Speak life into the women around you. Teach your sisters how to stand when the world tells them to kneel. Empower the younger ones who still think they must compete to be seen. Remind them that queens do not fight for thrones, they build them. When one woman remembers who she is, 1,000 others remember too. Be the spark that lights the chain of awakening. Chosen one, your power is not loud, it is steady. It is in the way you love without losing yourself, the way you endure without bitterness, the way you fall and still find the courage to rise again. The world will call you many things: too emotional, too strong, too sensitive, too much. But never forget that too much is exactly what creation needs. You are the overflow of a divine mind. You were designed to shift atmospheres just by being present. So stop trying to fit into rooms you were born to transform. Stop chasing acceptance from people who cannot even accept themselves. Stop fearing rejection from those who were never capable of seeing your light. You are not waiting for your power to arrive. It has been waiting for you to claim it. Every breath you take is an invitation to step deeper into your divine identity. Every sunrise is a reminder that your story is still unfolding. And if you ever forget who you are, close your eyes and feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. That is eternity speaking. That is the sound of purpose pulsing through your veins. You were never ordinary. You were never random. You are chosen. So walk into the world with your spirit blazing. Let them feel your presence before you speak. Let your peace announce you before your words do. Let your faith move mountains without explanation. For when a woman knows her power, she doesn't chase miracles, she becomes one. And in that sacred knowing, may you live boldly. May you love deeply. May you speak truth even when your voice shakes. May you rise every time life tries to push you down. May you remember that the divine has never made a mistake, and you are not about to become the first. Everything in you, the softness, the fire, the intuition, the grace, it is all intentional. You are the living proof that God's power flows through flesh. So stand now, chosen woman. Stand in your strength, stand in your truth. Stand in your beauty, your boundaries, your brilliance. Stand not as who the world told you to be, but as who you were always destined to become. You are not turning your power into weakness anymore. You are turning it into wings. And from this moment on, nothing will ever make you small again. And still her story unfolds soft and fierce all at once, like the breaking of dawn over a wounded sky. The chosen woman does not simply live, she becomes the very rhythm of life itself. Her existence is poetry in motion, her breath a prayer that hums through generations. She has been told that her worth depends on her usefulness, her beauty, her ability to serve and submit. But now she begins to see clearly her worth was never conditional. It was never earned. It was declared. Before she even took her first breath, heaven whispered her name and said, "You are enough." And that, beloved, is the moment the earth trembled. But years of carrying invisible weight can make even the strongest woman forget that truth. So she learns to survive by hiding her divinity under humility, her brilliance under silence, her wisdom under obedience. She calls it strength to endure, but endurance without expression becomes imprisonment. She grows accustomed to pleasing others, bending her back to make others comfortable, believing that her sacrifice will buy her love. But love that must be earned through exhaustion is not love, it is slavery. And the chosen woman must learn to walk away from any place where her peace must be purchased with her pain. When she begins to rise, the world trembles not because it fears her, but because it remembers that when a woman awakens, creation awakens with her. The very ground that once held her captive begins to yield in reverence. The same systems that profited from her silence begin to shake under the sound of her voice. Every time she speaks truth, an old lie dies. Every time she forgives herself, a new generation is set free. For every chosen woman who reclaims her power, 1,000 chains fall unseen. That is the quiet revolution of divine femininity. One healed woman becomes a doorway for the world to heal. And yet, power is not a destination, it is a daily remembering. It is a choice she must make again and again, to believe in herself when no one else does, to trust her vision when the road ahead is foggy, to keep walking even when her knees tremble. She learns that strength does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers, I will try again tomorrow. There will be moments when fear comes dressed as wisdom, when doubt pretends to protect her. But fear is a liar dressed as comfort, and the chosen woman learns that courage is not the absence of fear, it is the mastery of it. She no longer waits for the fear to fade, she walks hand in hand with it until it learns who she is. There is a sacred kind of power that is born from pain. The chosen woman does not despise her wounds anymore. She wears them like jewels, knowing that her scars are the signature of survival. What once hurt her has become her message. The tears that once drowned her have become rivers that carry others to safety. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every sleepless night has turned her into the alchemist of her own destiny. She no longer curses the darkness, because she realizes she became the light because of it. The things that tried to bury her only taught her how to bloom in places no one thought life could grow. But as she ascends, she must remember humility. Not the kind that shrinks her, but the kind that grounds her. Power without humility becomes arrogance, and arrogance blinds even the chosen. So she remains grateful. She remembers that her strength is borrowed from the divine, that her wisdom is the echo of generations before her. She walks with confidence but bows with reverence. She leads, but she listens. She builds empires not from ego but from empathy. She understands that true queenship is not domination, it is stewardship. Her power exists to serve, not to control. Her light exists to illuminate, not to blind. And oh, how beautifully dangerous she becomes when she realizes that forgiveness is not weakness but freedom. She no longer carries the weight of vengeance, no longer wastes her peace trying to make others see her worth. She understands that the best revenge is evolution. She outgrows the ones who wounded her, not out of pride but out of divine necessity. For every level of her growth, some will fall away, unable to breathe in the altitude of her healing. And though she will grieve them, she will not go back, because to return to what broke you is to dishonor what saved you. Sometimes she will stand at the edge of her destiny and feel afraid. She will question if she is ready, if she is worthy, if she is enough. But destiny doesn't wait for perfect confidence. It only asks for willing obedience. She does not need to have it all figured out, she only needs to move. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And the chosen woman is not called because she is flawless. She is called because she is faithful. Even when she doubts, even when she falters, she keeps showing up. Her persistence is her prophecy. Every small step forward is a sermon to her soul that says, I will not die here. When she looks back one day, she will see that everything made sense in its own divine order. The doors that closed, the people who left, the seasons that seemed empty. They were all rearranging her for her rightful place. Nothing was wasted. Every detour was direction, every delay protection. She realizes that God was not punishing her with loneliness, He was isolating her for revelation. For in solitude she found herself, in stillness she found God. And in that meeting she discovered that the two were never truly separate. Her power begins to glow differently now. It's quieter, more grounded. It no longer needs to be proven or performed. It simply is. She becomes magnetic not because she chases but because she radiates. Her peace draws opportunities, her joy attracts abundance. Her authenticity calls forth love. The more she accepts herself, the more the universe bends to accommodate her truth. That is the secret of the chosen woman. She no longer forces what flows, and she no longer flows where she must force. She understands that anything that costs her peace is too expensive for her soul. As she matures, she learns the sacred art of letting go. She releases old stories that once defined her, old versions of herself that were built from survival. She thanks them for protecting her, then sets them free. She stops carrying guilt for outgrowing people she once prayed for. Growth is not betrayal. It is obedience to evolution. And she knows now that her journey is not about becoming someone new, but remembering who she always was before the world told her otherwise. And when the world sees her walking in that kind of truth, they will call her many names. Some will call her intimidating. Others will call her divine. Some will envy her peace, others will crave her strength. But she will no longer concern herself with labels. She will know that peace is its own validation. She will wake each morning and whisper, I am enough. And the heavens will nod in agreement. She will no longer be bound by the need to be understood. She understands herself, and that is enough. There will be days when she stumbles, when the old habits whisper her name, when exhaustion tries to seduce her back into comfort. But she will remember that every step backward is only a prelude to a greater leap forward. Her story is not defined by perfection but by persistence. Each sunrise offers her a chance to begin again, and she takes it. For she has learned that grace is not just forgiveness, it is fuel. It is the divine reminder that she is still worthy of miracles even after all her mistakes. And so, she keeps walking. Through valleys of doubt and mountains of revelation, she keeps walking. She has learned to dance in the rain, to rest in the storm, to find beauty in what once broke her. She no longer seeks safety in predictability, for she knows her spirit was built for adventure. She no longer begs for love that requires her to shrink, for she has become the love she was searching for. She no longer asks for permission to exist fully, for she realizes now that her existence itself is permission enough. And as she walks, others begin to follow. Not because she told them to, but because light always leads the lost. Her glow becomes a map for those still trapped in shadows. Her peace becomes a mirror that shows other women what's possible. Without trying, she becomes what she always needed to see. A living example of healed femininity, of holy strength, of divine grace clothed in human form. And every time she speaks, her words carry weight, not because of volume but because they are backed by transformation. There is a quiet revolution happening in her heart now. She no longer fights to be powerful, she simply refuses to be powerless. She no longer tries to prove her worth, she embodies it. She no longer chases destiny, she walks in it. She is not waiting for miracles, she is one. And every step she takes, every breath she exhales, becomes a declaration that says, I remember who I am. And that chosen one is how power becomes eternal. It is not in the throne or the title, not in the applause or recognition, but in the simple, steady knowing that nothing outside of you defines the fire within you. You are not a reflection of what has happened to you. You are the revelation of what survived within you. You are not a product of pain. You are the promise that rose from it. So walk with grace, walk with power, walk with the